What I want to do is just talk about what I identify as areas of need, all right? Things that I know as a head coach I have to address on a yearly basis. It's easy. It's offense, defense, special teams, correct? We all talk about it, but when we're talking about it, these are the things that I really get into. The scheme that I know brought me success when I was a defensive coordinator, I began to install it a little bit when I took over as a head coach at Wisconsin. But when I was at Wisconsin with the success we had, I lost 4 coordinators. And as that evolution began to go through our system, the one thing that I realized is that 4th coordinator that I hired, I didn't spend as much time teaching him the basic elements like I did that first guy. Because I got wrapped up in so many different things, so many people pulling in so many different directions, that the evolution came to that 4th guy that I hired at Wisconsin, I brought with me to Arkansas. So when he started installing and going through the things that we felt were important in our program, I'm starting to look through it and I'm like, I started disagreeing on certain things. Because that guy was a guy that had learned the defense from the back end forward instead of the front end back. And I always believe things in our program foundation start up front and move backwards in our program, offense, defense, all right? So when I started looking at the X's and O's of what we were doing defensively, I knew that we had to change some things. Simple principle, we were playing a quarter, half. How do we play that quarter side corner? Is he going to vary up between how he plays on and off the line of scrimmage? Is he going to play aggressive bail? Is he going to play a pedal? Is he going to play a catch technique? Whatever it is, the scheme changes are going to be driven by what I see on film, not what I see on paper, all right? So by that I mean this. If you guys ask me, Coach, what do you run? If I threw up an overhead here, I'd show you a 4-3 defense and a basic outlay of maybe a quarter system, and it's going to have people in places. But the scheme changes that we are driving and the X's and O's that we are going to change are based off of what we saw on film. Not off of what you draw on a piece of paper and what you want it to look like. It's got to be a difficult thing to take that film and analyze it. What changes do we need to make schematically because of things we weren't able to do? And in the SEC, that is a lot not only driven by what you have, but by also a lot of what you're playing against. And I know everybody faces that, whether it's a great high school program, your crosstown rival, whatever it is, you're a team that perennially gets to the state championship or the quarterfinals or whatever it is, and you know you have to beat this person one time a year to get to that next level. So everybody's situation is the exact same thing. I think scheme changes also, from pure X's and O's, you have to take a serious look at not necessarily the results of the field, but as the year went on. For instance, this was our first year program. The first year these guys had gone through the program with us as coaches. So I wanted to look at what we were doing in game 4 compared to what we were doing in game 12. If we were beginning to get it and how our guys are going to rep. I told our guys at the end of the year, we went 3-9. We went 0-8 in conference play. It tears my gut on a daily basis and to this day. But guarantee you, we aren't going to stay at that spot. And what I told our guys, the last several games, we made significant strides because they began to understand what we were asking and being able to execute it better. So just don't make a bottom line statement. Personnel changes. I think this is really, really big. I don't care what we're talking. Obviously, I'm a head coach at an SEC school. I don't care if you're junior high, high school. Everybody's personnel always changes. Now, the more you get established and the more that you can create a certain level of not just recruitment, but development in your program, I think this can be a little bit more consistent. But for us in year 1, personnel changes with our student athletes is huge. And I think that's a big part of just trying to develop certain things as a coach. I look at this as personnel.